After visiting Xueyan's former residence, Wayne and Pei Fen stepped into another quiet corner of old Hangzhou. From the outside, this walled block looks simple. But inside, it connects several layers of the city's past, including the Deshou Palace Ruins Museum, which we will visit in another video. Today, our focus is a smaller and quieter place nearby, the Hangzhou Local Records Museum. You can think of it as Hangzhou's memory room. The moment you step inside, the mood changes. This large mural feels almost like an introduction to Hangzhou itself, not as a busy modern city, but as a place of water, bridges, gardens, poetry, and memory. That is the feeling this museum builds on. It is not only showing old objects. It is asking how a city remembers who it is. The key word here is Fangzhi. In simple English, Fangzhi means local chronicles, or local records. A national history tells the story of a country, but a local chronicle records the story of a particular place. It preserves geography, government, economy, culture, customs, important people, and daily life. In that sense, a local chronicle is almost like a city's memory written down. One display says China has preserved more than 8,000 types of old local gazetteers, totaling over 100,000 volumes. That scale makes this more than a collection of old books. It is a huge tradition of remembering places in detail. One wall points back to the Wanli-era Hangzhou Prefecture gazetteer from the Ming dynasty. These old records praised Hangzhou for its lakes and mountains, its products, its trade, and its cultural importance. That is what makes this museum different from a simple history display. It shows how people in earlier centuries described Hangzhou in their own words, not just as a scenic city, but as a living place with work, wealth, movement, and memory. The museum also introduces figures who helped shape Hangzhou's memory. Here is Su Shi, better known to many people as Su Dongpo. He was not only a poet and scholar, but also an official who left a lasting mark on Hangzhou. During his time here, he helped with famine relief, medical care, waterworks, and the dredging of West Lake. The famous Su Causeway still carries his name today. Nearby is Bai Juyi, one of the great poets of the Tang dynasty. Like Su Shi, he served as an official in Hangzhou, cared for the people, repaired waterworks, and left behind poems about West Lake. Together, they show how Hangzhou's history is preserved not only in buildings and documents, but also in poetry, public service, and local memory. This bust introduces Zhang Xuecheng, a Qing dynasty scholar from Zhejiang who became one of the important thinkers behind local chronicles. His idea was simple but powerful. A local record should not be just a list of facts. It should become the complete history of one place, its people, geography, culture, economy, and memory. That idea sits at the heart of this museum. One of the most interesting displays here is this long painting of the southern Song imperial city. It is not just a map in the modern sense. It is more like a visual reconstruction of city life. The work is only about 0.5 meters high, roughly 20 inches, but it stretches 38.6 meters long, or about 127 feet. Across that long painted city scene are thousands of people, animals, boats, carriages, shops, gates, temples, and government buildings. For a few moments, Hangzhou's past stops feeling like a date in a book and starts feeling like a city you can almost walk through. It is a simple effect, but it fits the museum's purpose. These figures appear almost like memories on a screen, a reminder that behind every local record were real people living, working, traveling, and shaping the city. This display shows the practical side of preserving history. Local records were not just written once and forgotten. They had to be copied, printed, stored, and passed down. In traditional woodblock printing, the characters were carved in reverse on a wooden block. Ink was applied to the surface, paper was pressed over it, and the printed page could be reproduced again and again. Nearby, these old scroll format records remind us why museums must be careful. Older paper can be damaged by light, moisture, oils from the skin, and even the simple stress of unrolling it. A museum like this is not only showing history. It is protecting the physical objects that carried that history forward. Even the bookshelf display feels carefully designed. The circular opening suggests a traditional moon gate. Here, instead of leading into a courtyard, it frames books and records, as if the doorway into Hangzhou's past is made of written memory. The museum is housed in Wangzhai, an old Wang family residence, so the building itself becomes part of the story. This camphorwood wardrobe with a mirror may look like a beautiful old piece of furniture, but it carries a deeper connection to the house. According to the plaque, it once belonged to the eldest granddaughter of Wang Binghang, the original owner, and was donated back by a family descendant in 2025. That makes it more than a display object. It is a family memory returning home. Here, local history is not only found in books and official records. Sometimes it survives in furniture, rooms, courtyards, and personal belongings. Hangzhou has a long history of silk weaving. As early as the Tang dynasty, silk produced in Hangzhou was considered among the finest in China. Over the centuries, official weaving offices, skilled craftsmen, family workshops, and later machine-powered silk factories helped make Hangzhou famous for silk. In 2003, the city was officially given the title, China's Silk Capital. Hangzhou also has a long medical history. During the Southern Song dynasty, the city established government-run pharmacy offices and helped compile one of China's earliest official collections of prepared medicine formulas. Later, famous traditional medicine shops appeared across the city, including names still remembered today, such as Hu Qingyu Tang. By the late Qing and Republican periods, Western-style hospitals and local pharmaceutical production also became part of Hangzhou's medical story. Hangzhou's tea history goes back to the Northern and Southern dynasties. By the Northern Song, early forms of Longjing tea were already being presented as tribute. Later, West Lake Longjing became famous for its green color, rich fragrance, mellow taste, and elegant shape. The plaque even says it ranked first among China's 10 great famous teas. Hangzhou's porcelain story became especially important after the Southern Song made linen its capital. Official kilns were established near Phoenix Mountain and Wugui Mountain, producing refined celadon known for its elegant shapes, dark, iron feet, and warm jade-like surface. The plaque describes Southern Song official kiln porcelain as one of the high points in the history of Chinese celadon, representing the finest level of porcelain production in China more than 800 years ago. This section reminds us that local chronicles did not only record emperors, officials, and famous poets. They also recorded what a city produced. Hangzhou became known for silk, medicine, tea, porcelain, and other local industries. These were not just products on a shelf. They were part of the city's economy, reputation, and daily life. That is what makes local records so interesting. They preserve the practical side of history too. The hands that wove the silk, prepared the tea, shaped the porcelain, sold the medicine, and helped make Hangzhou prosperous. This diorama section brings the museum down to the level of everyday life. Local chronicles did not only record rulers, officials, and famous scholars. They also preserved customs, what people ate during festivals, how neighbors shared new tea, how farmers hoped for a good harvest, and even the small folk beliefs that protected silkworms and crops. Here we see traditions such as wrapping Zhangzi for the Dragon Boat Festival, sharing new tea with neighbors, and the old spring ox custom that marked the beginning of the farming year. These little scenes help turn written records into something easier to picture, people gathering, working, celebrating, and carrying local customs from one generation to the next. Between the exhibits, the building itself becomes part of the experience. The carved wooden panels, lattice screens, courtyards, and framed garden views remind us that this museum is not only preserving documents. It is also preserving the atmosphere of an older Hangzhou residence. Even the garden view feels framed like a page, a quiet reminder that in this museum, Hangzhou's past is something you walk through and read at the same time. The Hangzhou Local Records Museum is not the loudest place in the city, and it is not the most famous. But that may be what makes it worth visiting. It helps us see Hangzhou not only as West Lake, old streets, food, and architecture, but as a city that has been carefully recorded, remembered, and passed down. If Hu Xueyan's residence shows us one wealthy man's world, this museum shows us something wider, the written memory of Hangzhou itself. If you enjoy quiet history walks like this, please like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more China travel, history, food, architecture, and daily life through the eyes of a retired American contractor living part-time in China. And don't forget to ring the bell, so you'll be notified when we upload our next adventure. See you soon.